Welcome to ILTV's Israel Daily. I'm Gabrielle Weiniger. Coming up in today's program, Israel swears in Major General Herzi HaLevi as the new military chief of staff. Meanwhile, Israel probes the accidental death of an 18-year-old soldier on a training base. And later, shifting desert sand reveals an ancient nest egg that you have to see to believe. In our top headline today, Israel has sworn in a new chief of staff amid internal tensions within the army and security threats outside. ILTV's Aaron Porris with the details.
The Israeli army is swearing in a new chief of staff today, with Major General Herzi HaLevi replacing Lieutenant General Aviv Kochavi in a series of ceremonies, including at the military headquarters in Tel Aviv. HaLevi was chosen by former Defense Minister Benny Gantz, a controversial appointment, as the decision was made during last year's electoral campaign. Gantz wrote on Twitter at the time of the appointment that he was convinced HaLevi would lead the IDF to the right place, but it's said that the Prime Minister would have selected Eyal Zamir, the Director General of the Defense Ministry. The two positions have clashed in the past. Now, the incoming Chief of Staff headed the Southern Command during border violence along the Gaza Strip in both 2018 and 2019, and most recently he served as Deputy Chief of Staff, a natural step to his new role. Still, HaLevi is set to face many challenges, including the uptick of violence in the West Bank and multiple hotspots, including on Israel's borders with Gaza and Lebanon, as well as an evolving campaign against Iran in Syria. The setup of the new government, with members of the new religious right taking key security positions, may also play a part in future tensions. HaLevi was born in 1967 into an observant family in Jerusalem and will be the first observant chief of staff, despite no longer wearing a kippah. A married father of four, HaLevi lives in the Kfar HaOranim settlement. HaLevi also has a bachelor's degree in philosophy and business administration from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, as well as a master's degree in national resource management from the National Defense College in the United States. Following HaLevi's confirmation, Kochavi congratulated him and wished him success, saying he's a brave, professional, and talented officer. Herzi HaLevi will be the IDF's 23rd Chief of Staff. And besides the morning ceremony, HaLevi and Kochavi are scheduled to have ceremonies with Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Herzog at Mount Herzl and at the Western Wall.
So who is Israel's new IDF Chief of Staff, Herzi HaLevi? To discuss, we're joined by Israeli journalist and senior research fellow at the Jerusalem Center for Public Affairs, Yoni Ben Menachem. Yoni, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Let's start with the internal divisions HaLevi is facing. He's taking the reins from Aviv Kochavi during a time of turmoil for the military, isn't he?
Definitely, he's a very talented and professional officer, but apparently there is a political clash because the Likud party, which is the ruling party now, and is the major party in the new coalition, was against his appointment because it was done during the elections period. And Mr. Netanyahu, who is now the prime minister, he had another candidate to be the chief of staff, which is General Eyal Zamir, who is now appointed as the general director of the defense ministry. And this means that the new chief of staff will always have to look behind his shoulder as far as his relationship with the political echelon.
So what are the potential implications of such an internal fallout?
This can cause a lot of problems on very difficult issues because I think that any prime minister expect the chief of staff to go along with his policy and respect his views and support his positions in the cabinet, security cabinet meetings. So we'll see how things will turn. There are many people in the political echelons that estimate that he will not be able to function together with Netanyahu, and there will be clashes along the way. We'll have to see if he will be able to survive politically.
Let's take it to the job at hand. I want to ask you specifically about HaLevi's actions with Gaza, given that he was the head of the Southern Command during the time of those border protests in 2018 and 2019. What did he show us then, and how can we use that as a prediction for how he's going to act on Gaza and his Gaza policy in the future?
I think he functioned very well. He's very experienced, and I think that he knows Gaza Strip very well. This is very important because Gaza Strip is a big threat to Israel. And now Hamas, after the last war in May 2021, is now preparing for 2 years the next military operation against Israel. So it's very important that the Chief of Staff will be an officer who is experienced and knows Gaza Strip very well, and I think Herzi HaLevi knows it very well.
And what about the other external threats? We're talking about Syria, Iran, Lebanon. How will he lead the army on this? And is there any particular place that he's going to focus on?
Look, he has to focus on preparation for a military operation in Iran to strike the nuclear facilities. This is the main goal of the army for the last few years, and the army is preparing for it very thoroughly, buying the necessary bombs from the United States and making trainings of the Air Force and other special units to be able to carry out this very important goal. And I think we'll be focusing on this thing. The army is getting ready, and it will be ready within a year and a half to 2 years, and this will be the major task of the Israeli army in the coming years.
Very briefly, what do you think is his biggest challenge ahead of him now?
The biggest challenge on the military arena is, of course, Iran and the threats that are coming from Gaza. And also in the West Bank, there are some military terror groups who are working in the north of the West Bank, carrying out the terror attacks. He has to take care of these terror groups. And of course, politically, this is also a very major goal for him to get along with the political echelon.
Absolutely. Yoni Ben Menachem, Israeli journalist, thank you so much for your analysis.
Thank you.
Now, a tragic accidental death on Sunday. Israel has now named the soldier killed in the grenade explosion on a Jordan Valley training base as 18-year-old Denis Zinoviev. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu sent his condolences to the family. The IDF has launched an internal investigation into the incident, which injured 3 others. They've initially concluded that while the soldiers did not misuse their firearms, they did break strict safety orders not to bring live ammunition into the soldiers' dormitories. There have been at least 2 other accidental incidents within the IDF this year so far. Last year, 6 soldiers were killed in work or training accidents. And in the latest from Israel's Operation Break the Wave, the IDF, Shin Bet and Border Police arrested 19 suspects in the West Bank overnight Sunday in raids that saw the death of 14-year-old Omar Kamor. According to the Palestinian Health Ministry, the boy died from a head injury sustained in the Daisha refugee camp that's in Bethlehem. An exchange of gunfire was also reported near the flashpoint city of Jenin. No injuries were reported there from the IDF. The Israeli army also demolished several facilities in the town of Hizmeh, east of Jerusalem. And Israel's president warned today that the country is facing a constitutional crisis over a plan to reform the judiciary. More in the following report. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is looking to put controls on the Supreme Court. At the start of the weekly cabinet meeting, he vowed to make, quote, necessary changes in the judicial system.
צריך לקיים שיח ענייני, מעמיק, רציני, בוועדת החקיקה, בוועדת החוקה של הכנסת, ולא להיסחף לסיסמאות מתלהמות של מלחמת האחים והרס המדינה. אני משוכנע שאחרי השיח החשוב והמעמיק בוועדת החוקה, אנחנו נשלים את חקיקת הרפורמה באופן שיתקן את הנדרש לתיקון, יגן בצורה מלאה על זכויות הפרט, ויחזיר את האמון של הציבור במערכת המשפט שכל כך זקוקה לרפורמה הזאת.